You are not brought there to complain about his weaknesses, but to fill them up. If he is complete in himself, then you will be useless in his life. He is created with a need so that your purpose can be intact. If and then remember, if he's created sufficient, then he doesn't need you, he doesn't need anybody. We are not created to be sufficient in ourselves. We are created for connection. We are created for relationships. And sometimes I hear people say the man's best friend is a dog. They might be making sense because they are considering the animal kingdom. If you want to see how God found him this suitable mate, he first tested all the animals. Okay? Because of some human beings, and there are some men and there are also some women, they are rebelling against order. But when they finish rebelling against order, you now see the alternative. What's the alternative? You look for a fellow female. They all have the same needs, and they all bring the same thing to the table, so they can meet each other's need. Then you see others, they go and look for toys. Why should I cut off a real leg to use prosthetic leg? I know that dentists can get artificial teeth and put for you. I know. Yeah. Well, why should I remove my real eye so that they can put a prosthetic eye? I don't know if you have been around anybody that got this other one, the man-made alternative. It never works like the original. Say I hear. So what they're looking for, they're not able to find. They're playing with somebody's product. You see some men, they go with another guy because they hate women, they don't whatever. They don't want the help God made for them. They are rebelling against the system. So they try to create a new system, and it's all a life of frustration. Let me give you an example. One of the reasons some men want a man is because they think women are not dependable and all that. And then after they hook up with a man, they find out men too are not dependable. Then you see some ladies who think that men cheat. They hook up with a girl only to find out that the girl also. I'm telling you because this is what I do. I'm a doctor for life. I'm a life doctor and a life coach. There is nothing this my ear. I don't. When you even go to Igbo land where they are very forthright, they are open like this, there's nothing you won't hear. This is the original hand. The one the manufacturer gave me is still working. My dad used his own into his 70s. My grandfather used his own till he was 99. My grandmother used her own till 98. Do you know how many times those who do augmentation, breast augmentation, how many times they have to keep changing and yet it will never be the real thing. You want to try metals inside your leg because the real bone can't carry, so you have to. Or do you want to try crutches? This is what some people are doing with marriage and relationships. These things I'm describing for you. They reject the divine order and then they now into a lifetime of buying spare parts. And the spare parts will never fit because they are not designed to fit. I want you to know my mission I'm here to help you, and you will see what will happen in the next couple of three. You will see. The difference between ministry and medicine: in medicine, pay before service. You go to shop, pay before service. In ministry, they say serve before you pay, but it's still not free. Oh, you think it's free? That's why when you saw pastors, you forget that it's the same service other people render, except that our own is 10 times harder. Go and see what medical research have shown about ministry. 30 minutes of preaching, they say, is more than Mike Tyson spending 6 hours boxing the opponent in the ring. If you don't know why pastors are dropping, like, because when a man of God does that without the anointing, the effect he will have on him, on his heart and physical body. If they also die, they check the heart, autopsy. It said the heart has lived 180 years, while the man was 60 years. That's how much. Because it is virtue, it is life that flows out of the man that does that. Okay. Every lady, lift up your hand and say this. Say it one more time. I'm created to help him. He has not entered. Say it. This man is designed. Say it. This man is designed not to succeed without me. Say it in another way. This man is not complete without me. So you can imagine what a woman would do to her husband so much that the car is willing to go ahead without the tires. The car that is meant to be powered by tire prefers to be scratching on the ground than to have the thing that gives it speed. Since today is the ladies' turn, next time let's talk to the men. You can imagine what a cook. A knife does so badly that the cook prefers to boil the soup with her hand than to use pot. You are that solution that now makes his life easier and makes his destiny easier. You are that person. So a woman is a solution created by God to a man's problem. If you discover why God made you, package yourself as that solution, you will not beg for a husband, that is as a single, neither will you lose any man that comes into your life. The problem is, the few that have come together, what ministry do they get from you? Scorpion. That stinks. Everybody wants, there is a law of nature. There are about 7 of them that have to do with human nature. One of them is everybody is designed with that self-interest quotient. So when you're pricing tomato, you're looking for the good one because you don't want to eat the bad one. Which of you will go to market and eat the one with worms inside? Buy it. If you buy it, it's because you are deceived. The marketer faked it, packaged it, and deceived you. No, but the law of self-interest makes you look for what is good for you. What if you, the marketer, can package what is good for people? Do you see how easy it is for you to sell? The problem is that you're looking for what is good for you, their money. You're not thinking about what is good for your customers. So in business, they teach you customer service as a way to get all the money you want. In marriage, it is husband service as a way to get the happiness you need as a woman. Stop thinking about yourself. Start concentrate on your customers, how to meet his needs. You will be married off like this as a single, and nobody that enters your life as a woman that can leave you. Because it won't be your loss, it will be their loss. And if they that try it, that's how there will be other customers hooking, running to grab the space. They won't try it, because even if they do, in 1 week of your absence, in 30 days of your absence, they will run back without you going to beg, because absence amplifies the need for solutions. That's what it does. Presence strengthens love, but absence sometimes amplifies the need for it, which is why we teach couples that there are dynamics for successful marriage, and part of it is that at least once in a year, travel. One of you should travel. If in the course of what you do there is no traveling in it, create one, fabricate it. Just go and be with your sister for 1 week. Go and visit your family, your dad for 1 week, or let him just do something. There are some of you who have it. Your career has provided it, so you are not complaining. He travels too much. Once you see that kind of thing, it shows that you need the person. If you are absent and your absence is not felt, then your presence is useless. You are a solution. You are a solution. There are some things I'm going to give our ladies. You won't be a beggar. You won't be a beggar in the world of men. You are not meant to be a beggar. You are not meant to be at the mercy of anybody. You are a solution that God created. The way they travel to go and buy spare parts, the way they travel to go and see a doctor, doctors are not begging them to come to hospital. The way they carry their children and come to school to register, the way they stand on the road waiting for taxi, because all those products, whether it's the one that solves transport problem, were created to solve a particular problem. The way they do it, if for example you travel for 1 week, the feeling in the house is like NEPA took like for 1 week. And do you know how you run around to make sure they connect back your house? That's how it will be. There are two demonic evil that is going on in our world now that everybody, male and female, must join to stop and fight, because both came from Satan, but they came in an attempt. Some think that they are trying to solve problem for women, so they came up with the solution. One was manufactured by men, and the one some of them manufactured is women's subjugation. And what they end up doing is that they stop women from contributing. They help their acts to contribute, both in the family and in society. And the man that does that pays a very costly price for it. The other is women liberation or feminism. It is women that manufacture that one. They manufactured it thinking that that is their solution to issues of equality with men, because in the place of work sometimes they take more men. You look in the politics, when they appoint ministers, they take more. So they created that, and what they did is to create males that can compete with men. They turned women to men. They turned them into competitors. They are created to complement. They now turn them into competitors with their men, and they turn them into men haters, husband bashers, and whatever, and they destroy the woman. They destroy her. I'll provide you these 5 mandates that God gave to every woman. But I will start with number 2 and deal with number 1 as last. So the right thing is to give you number 1 maybe I should state it, but I'm going to discuss it like the first purpose for every woman is also the purpose for every man. God made every woman to be a woman of destiny. That's a lady on purpose, a woman of purpose. And this particular one is the first and the fundamental reason she's created. She's created to fulfill an assignment. So let me put it in a different way. Every woman is created, her first mandate is to be a woman of God. Write it down. You are created first to be a woman of God. You're created first to have relationship with him, and as a result of that relationship, there are certain assignment you're going to carry out for him. Now, all of you that are married, lift up your hands. Ladies, say it with me. That man in my life is not just my choice, it's also God's assignment given to me, and I must not fail. Now that's, let me tell you, before we get to the human plane where it is Pastor Sarah and I have to deal with the divine plane where God has an investment in two of us, because the human plane alone is within my jurisdiction. I can decide to walk away from it. But she is my assignment. And because she is my assignment, if I even explain it to you, God, the way God explains it to me is that this is your number one convert. This is your first church member. This is your first leader you have raised. This is your first child. Before you now add all the other elements that a person contributes. So let's even remove that I'm married to her. What will you do as a person called? Can you imagine that God gave you only one soul to save? What excuse do you have for not saving? Can you imagine that God gave you only one person to protect for him? What excuse do you have for not doing it? Can you imagine that God gave you only one person to pastor? What's the excuse you have for not doing it? Before we talk about you, you need to know that God has an investment in your life and in your marriage. And the scope of this assignment that God gave you does not end with your husband, neither does it end with your children. Your husband is the first, your children is the second. Every other person you are going to now touch comes after these two. Your first assignment, if you're a man, is your wife. The second, your children. Then every other person comes after that. Your first calling and ministry as a woman is your husband. The second, your children. Every other ministry comes after that. The only thing that comes before your spouse is God and the things that had to do with him. Succeed first here, and you will be a success there. God has shown you a vision. He wants to use you to shake the whole world. So he gave you one soul to look after. That one man, that's your husband. Is he going to hell or heaven? Those 3 kids or 2 kids or 4, where are they headed? Because we are all called into ministry, family is our Bible school and the first practical ministry we are all given. All of us. Go and read all the pastoral epistles written in the New Testament. They all said where a man first learns ministry is in his house. And the same thing with a woman. If you want a woman to bring her into anything, the service of God, you check what is going on. No matter how much in a hurry any group of people are, the church must receive the first information, the second, and then possibly the third. It's three. Two are extremely compulsory. And the marriage is pronounced, and people are given the opportunity in case anybody has a reason why this should not happen. Because you can't tell. It's the same thing with ordination. Just like you have marriage covenant, that's how you have priesthood covenant. Both are going into some form of marriage. That's why you can see that a Catholic priest who is not physically married wears a ring, because he's married. And because we wear a ring here, for example, now if I decide to add the bishop ring to my whatever, there will be another ring. I can wear it on this other hand. But truth is that it's not when you become a bishop you get a ring. Priesthood confers one. Ring is not the marriage. Ring is a token reminding you of your vows. There are vows you take to enter into that. Because just like marriage gives you responsibility for a family, and other people's lives are going to be affected, priesthood gives you responsibility for a family. And this time we're talking about God's family. So what you do can wreck other people's lives. The Dominion City ordination has 7 deadly vows. Now, when people come in, we lay hands on them and commission them. They are not yet our pastors. They are PITs, pastors in training, but are allowed to function until they have been proven for some years, and we now can fully ordain them before we can give them our certificates. Like, for example, if you notice, there was a few weeks ago we commissioned some people. There are no pastors at all. Because when you take the priestly ordination, you are married. You can't abandon the church, because if you do, that's divorce too. So the Bible school, the training ground for leadership in the society, social influence, and ministry is in your house. Let me give a secret to all pastors that are here. Just run one home Bible study with your family once a week. You will have enough sermon to last a month. Even if the Bible study is just 30 minutes. So I have a rich library. I study wide. One of my richest moments in my whole life as a minister of the gospel is our family devotion. We did it today in the morning. Unless there is no other person in that house, we must, even if we can't do all these long studies, just pray. Because what happens when you come together is different from what happens when you do it alone. You can't get the same result. So the first mandate of every woman is that she's created to solve, to as an agent of heaven, as on assignment for God. Every woman is created carrying purpose in her. So what it means is that before you go to give yourself to a man or let another man come into your life, or before as a man you go to receive a woman, you need to first find yourself in God. If you don't, when you marry, you'll be expecting another human being to meet needs that they are not designed and created to meet. There are things that a human being can't give you. Let me give you an example. Fulfillment does not come from marriage. It comes from pursuing your life purpose. Fulfillment, for example, does not come from having money. Some of you that have not had it, you are still trying to break through, will think by the time you get it, then go and see. Among the people that are committing suicide, dying of, go and Google how some of the world richest people die. One of the things you see there is suicide and drug. Because at the end of the day, they get all the money and they find out that it doesn't buy fulfillment, it doesn't buy happiness. Do you know where fulfillment comes from? The pursuit of your life purpose. Whenever anybody is doing that thing he is created to do, called to do, inside you there is something that happens to your inward man, to your real person. The first reward you get back, and God made it automatic. So it's not like I need to pray to God to get it. No. He made this one automatic. Once you start touching lives, what you get back into your soul and into your spirit is joy, fulfillment. If you are not a happy person, if you lack a sense of destiny, if you are even the type that has contemplated suicide before, if you find yourself in depression at times, if you find yourself at times wondering what is even the use, even this born again thing, maybe you even question that too. What's the use? What is he really doing for me? You find yourself going through this internal conflict, irrespective of whatever is around you. You need to realize, if you like, change the man in your life now, or if you don't have any, get the best one that is available. It will not change that thing. There are people dying in the midst of people. There are people that have the kind of man every woman will want, and they are withering away, even in such relationships. And so, people have fallen in love with the star of the pulpit. They fall in love with the anointing and the anointed man. They think that's how the person is. Have you seen me when I'm angry? Have you seen me when I'm hungry? Do you know whether I snore in the night? You know, there are some snoring that you have to buy earphone. Just because the guy flows under the anointing. Do you know whether he's a dirty person? People have to brush their mouth twice a day. You know whether he brushes. And he will come to bed and he wants to kiss you. You want the kiss, but what is coming out with it? How do you deal with that? That's when love is tested now. And this is where, because it's not but if you get a woman that loves him, that is suitable for him, what you'll be seeing in that man's life, he doesn't know how to dress. See him by next year. The guy, wow. Because she would take the responsibility of going to choose his shirts, buy him clothes, do whatever. And he will keep doing fashion, whatever, till till they get what fits him. Because it's not just, remember that while you are doing it for him, you want him to fit the clothes. You have to also make sure that the clothes fit him. It's not just about him wearing your clothes, it's also about him being comfortable. And it takes skill to lead him gradually into that. That's how there are certain soup and food I didn't used to eat that I eat now. And now they are the ones I demand more often. But then to convert me is winning a soul. I told you are giving one soul. And you want to go and win the whole world. It's like when you're married to a woman with certain issues, character issues and all that, and you want her to change. Once you start pursuing change, you produce anti-change. The moment you stop trying to force change, because what you're trying to do leads to breaking the stick.